Let me tell you something. You are not here to shrink so someone else can feel big. You are not made to play small just to protect someone else's ego. So when a toxic person tries to drag you down, don't lower your frequency. Rise your standards. You don't need to scream to silence them. Your success, your grace, your presence is louder than their bitterness. This isn't about clapping back. This is about standing tall. Let's learn how to deal with those who try to dim our light, because darling, we were born to shine. They say silence is weakness, but let me tell you the truth. They lied. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a weapon, a choice, a crown. When used right, silence is the most powerful response you can ever give to a toxic person. Because silence says what words cannot. Silence says you're not even worth the energy. It's the kind of power that doesn't have to scream. It just stands tall and lets the noise fade into nothing. Imagine you walk into a room and someone throws shade at you. Maybe it's a snide comment. Oh, I didn't expect you to show up looking like that. Or they mock your ideas in front of others. Wow, that's interesting. Did you Google that or just make it up? Most people react. They snap back. They try to defend themselves. But not you. You look them in the eye, smile like a queen who doesn't need to explain herself, and move on. You sip your coffee. You carry on your conversation. You don't flinch. That moment right there, that's where the game changes. Because toxic people feed on reactions. The moment you stop reacting, you starve their power. They start to choke on their own bitterness. Remember this. Silence is not the absence of a voice. It's the presence of self-control. It's saying, I am too focused on building my empire to notice your playground politics. Let me give you a real life moment. A woman I know, smart, graceful, a corporate genius, walked into a board meeting where a colleague constantly tried to undermine her. He'd interrupt her, question her, laugh at her presentations. Everyone expected her to lash out, but you know what she did? Nothing. Not a word. Just worked harder. Closed deal after deal, month after month, until the same man who mocked her ended up reporting to her. That is the magic of silence. It lets the truth expose the loud mouths without you having to say a single syllable. Sometimes silence is walking away from the argument because you already know your value. You don't need to argue with someone who doesn't even value themselves. Why battle with a mosquito when you're meant to soar like an eagle? Think about social media. Someone throws shade in the comments, you're tempted to reply. But then you remember, I don't explain myself to people committed to misunderstanding me. You let your content speak. You let your journey speak. Let the results speak. The ones who are watching, they see. The ones who matter, they know. And the ones who hate eventually go silent. Because your silence outlives their drama. Sometimes silence is the highest form of self-respect. It's saying, you don't get to access my peace anymore. You stop replying to the late night texts from the one who ghosted you last week. You stop explaining yourself to friends who only check on you when they need something. You stop fighting battles that aren't yours. And you glow differently. You move differently. Your silence becomes a message louder than any speech. Even in family dynamics, maybe it's an aunt or uncle who keeps comparing you, saying things like, "Why can't you be more like your cousin? She's already married with kids." You don't scream, you don't defend, you just smile and say, "I'm building something timeless." And not everything beautiful happens on someone else's schedule. And then you stay silent. You live. You rise. You let your life do the talking. Silence says, "I'm not afraid. I'm just elevated." It's the kind of dignity that's not taught, only earned. The world needs to learn this. Not everything deserves your reaction. Your peace is too precious. Your energy is too royal. So the next time someone tries to downgrade you, remember this. Real queens don't respond to noise. They rise above it. In silence, with grace and unstoppable power. When someone tries to insult you, downgrade you, or belittle your shine, pause. Don't absorb their words. Don't take their poison as your truth. Instead, mirror their insecurity. Reflect it like a polished diamond reflects the dirt thrown at it. Not by becoming dirty, but by shining so bright, the dirt falls right off. Understand this, when people project negativity onto you, it has nothing to do with you. It's a mirror of what's going on inside of them. Could doubt herself. She could let their bitterness become her burden. But instead, she pauses, smiles, and in her mind she knows, that's not my insecurity, that's yours. Because people who are confident in their own path don't attack someone else's success. Insecurity is loud. Confidence doesn't need to explain itself. Don't absorb their venom. Reflect it. When someone says, "You think you're better than everyone," what they're really saying is, "I feel small next to you." When they say you're too confident, they mean, "I wish I had your courage." When they say you've changed, it means you've grown beyond their control. See their comments for what they are. Projections, not facts. Let's get real. In relationships, you may hear lines like, "No one else would love you like I do," especially from someone who constantly disrespects you. That's not love. That's manipulation. wearing a cheap disguise. And when someone tries to insult you, downgrade you, or belittle your shine, pause. Don't absorb their words. Don't take their poison as your truth. Instead, mirror their insecurity. Reflect it like a polished diamond reflects the dirt thrown at it. Not by becoming dirty, but by shining so bright, the dirt falls right off. Understand this, when people project negativity onto you, it has nothing to do with you. It's a mirror of what's going on inside of them. Sane people are still watching her glow online because her power wasn't built on their approval. It was built on understanding that their jealousy was never about her. It was about what they felt they lacked in themselves. When someone tries to make you feel small, recognize the truth. They see something in you they wish they had. It could be your peace, your presence, your passion, your potential. Toxic people don't hate you. They hate how you make them feel about themselves. Don't shrink to comfort their insecurity. Don't dim your light because it's blinding to someone stuck in their own darkness. When they gossip, criticize, or mock you, reflect it all with calm eyes and a confident smile. Because deep down, they are trying to offload what they can't carry. Don't take their bags. Don't carry their damage. Just hold up your mirror and let them face their own reflection. And while they stare, frozen in their own self-doubt, you keep walking, keep winning, keep growing, because you are not a dumpster for anyone's insecurity. You are a mirror that reminds them of the work they haven't done. There is something about quiet, unshakable confidence that drives toxic people absolutely crazy. Not the kind of confidence that shouts to prove itself, not the kind that begs for applause, but the kind that walks into a room, owns the space, and doesn't even need to speak to be heard. That's the kind of confidence that turns the tables. That's the kind of revenge that doesn't break laws, it rewrites them. Because confidence is the ultimate revenge, not just against those who doubted you, but against every moment you doubted yourself. Imagine being told you're not good enough. Over and over, they tell you, you don't have the skills, you're too old, you're too young. Every insult, every side comment, every laugh behind your back, it stacks up like bricks. Now most people either start believing it or break under the weight, but not you. You start building. You take every insult and use it as a stepping stone. You let them talk, and while they talk, you evolve. That's real power. You show up later, not to argue, but to glow so hard that their words become irrelevant. That moment when they see you succeed despite them, that is revenge at its finest. Confidence is when you walk back into a place that once broke you, and this time you're unshaken. You don't seek validation, you are the validation. It's when the one who left you thinking you'd never rise again suddenly sees you laughing louder, living freer, glowing stronger, and you didn't even have to say a word. Just your presence says, I made it, without you, in spite of you. Think about that job that fired you unfairly, or the manager who said, you just don't have leadership potential. At first it hurts, it stings, but you turn that sting into fuel. You build yourself, you learn, grow, hustle harder, and then someday that same manager watches you from a distance, leading your own team, starting your own brand, running your own show. Confidence doesn't call them out, it just lives so loudly that the memory of their insult fades behind the sound of your success. In love, it's the same. Maybe he left you for someone else and you cried, broke, shattered. But you healed. You didn't text, you didn't beg. You leveled up. You hit the gym, elevated your mind, focused on your goals. Now you walk into a party, glowing from the inside, and he can't stop staring. You didn't get revenge by hurting him. You got revenge by loving yourself better than he ever could. Confidence is when you no longer need closure. Your life becomes the closure. Even among friends, sometimes the people closest to you will try to keep you small. They'll say, don't dream too big, or mock your ambition. That's never going to work. You don't argue. You don't fight. You just keep working. You let your achievements speak in language they don't understand. Because when you truly believe in yourself, their noise turns into background music. That's how you win. Not by proving them wrong, but by proving yourself right. Confidence is the quietest way to scream, you never broke me. It's showing up with your head high, your soul intact, and your peace untouched. It's knowing that nothing they say can shake what you've built inside. Because while they were busy trying to break your spirit, you were busy mastering your craft, rebuilding your worth, and learning how to walk like royalty through chaos. And the most beautiful part? When you reach that level of confidence, you don't even care about revenge anymore. Your life becomes so full, so joyful, so purpose-driven. Their opinions no longer have a place in your world. They become shadows in a room that's already lit. Because when you walk in confidence, they don't need to remember what they said. They'll feel what they lost. They'll talk about you, judge you, throw shade behind your back, and then smile to your face. That's life. But how you respond, that's your power. And one of the most graceful, spine-strong weapons you'll ever carry, kindness. Not the weak kind that pleads for acceptance. The powerful kind that says, I see your game, and I refuse to play in the mud. You don't fight fire with fire. You fight it with water. You disarm them not by matching their venom, but by rising above it, with poise, with grace, and with silence that speaks louder than any insult. There's a girl in college. She's beautiful, brilliant, and bold. But there's always someone trying to tear her down. Whispers about her clothes, her choices, her past. And yet, she smiles at them, says good morning, even when they roll their eyes. She helps them when they drop their books. Why? Because she knows their hate isn't about her. It's about how she makes them feel about themselves. I'm not going to let your broken spirit pull mine down. I'll just kill you with kindness, she thinks. And the truth is, it's not for them, it's for her peace. Kindness is strength, not surrender. It takes more power to stay graceful in chaos than to scream in rage. When someone insults you and you say nothing, just smile and carry on. You win. When they try to provoke you and you choose to stay centered, you win. And when they expect drama and you deliver dignity, you win with style. That's killing with kindness. It leaves them confused, powerless, exposed. But there's a second part no one talks about enough. Knowing when to cut off. Kindness is not tolerance. Grace is not permission. You can forgive someone, but still protect your peace. You can say, I wish you, feeling, and still walk away from their toxicity. Because self-respect doesn't mean being rude. It means not letting anyone drain your soul in the name of loyalty. Picture this. A woman is in a long-term friendship where the other person constantly belittles her behind closed doors. Always sarcastic, always competitive. She's tried kindness. She's tried conversations. Nothing changes. One day, instead of fighting back, she simply stops showing up. No grand exit, no final speech. She cuts off the access. That's kindness to herself. Sometimes cutting someone off is the most loving thing you can do. Not just for you, but for them. Because you teach them that energy like theirs no longer gets rewarded. In relationships too, you can love someone deeply and still walk away with grace. When someone repeatedly disrespects you, doesn't show up, doesn't honor your worth, you can leave without hate. You don't have to burn bridges. Just stop crossing them. You don't need revenge. You just need peace. And that peace begins the moment you stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. At work it happens too. You're the one who stays late, does the work, brings the ideas. But there's a colleague who takes credit, throws passive jabs, always undermines you. You could fight them, or you could outshine them. Be so exceptional that no lie can survive the truth of your results. Be so professional that they look childish just by standing next to you. That's killing with kindness. And if it continues, you go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Because here's the truth. Kindness is not about letting people walk all over you. It's about walking away from drama in heels, with your head high and your peace intact. It's about choosing to be soft in a world that tried to harden you, but never letting softness mean surrender. You can be sweet, but not stupid. Loving, but not blind. You can bless them with kindness and still block their access to your light. And that right there is the kind of power they'll never understand. There is something rare, something electric about a woman who refuses to let pain define her and instead uses it to redefine everything around her. You see, pain can either paralyze you or push you. It can either trap you in your past or teach you how to build your future. When you learn to turn pain into power, moves, you're no longer just surviving, you're evolving into someone unstoppable. And that, my love, is where the game changes. A girl gets heartbroken. But then she woke up one day and realized, maybe I wasn't too much. Maybe he was just too little to handle all that I am. That pain, she didn't drown in it. She turned it into drive. She hit the gym. She launched that business idea. She poured her heartbreak into her hustle. Months later, she didn't just look different. She was different. Radiating, unshakable. And when he saw her again, she didn't need to say a word. Her glow screamed, "You didn't break me. You built the woman I was always meant to be." Pain has a way of waking you up like nothing else. It strips away the illusions. When someone disrespects you, betrays you, underestimates you, it hurts. But instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What now? What can I build with this pain? How can I channel this fire into something fierce?" Power moves aren't made from comfort, they're born in chaos. They come when you've been knocked down so many times, the ground becomes familiar. But every time you rise stronger, smarter, more focused. There's a single mom out there who got left with nothing but bills, broken promises, and a baby. She could have crumbled, but she chose differently. She used the pain of abandonment to build herself into the provider, the protector, the powerhouse. She learned skills, worked double shifts, went from scraping by to running her own small business. That wasn't just a comeback, that was a queen move. Her pain didn't destroy her, it crowned her. Even betrayal by friends can be fuel. Maybe you've had people smile in your face and stab you in the back. It burns. It makes you question your worth, your instincts. But if you let it, that betrayal can become your blueprint. You start valuing solitude. You start begging to belong. You become your own circle, your own hype team, your own backbone. You become so whole within yourself that fake people don't even know how to approach you anymore. That shift, that's your power move. And what about rejection? The job you didn't get, the project that failed, the doors that slammed in your face. It stings, but rejection is just redirection in disguise. It teaches you that you don't need their approval to be phenomenal. You stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. You create your own opportunities. You write your own script. You stop knocking on doors and start building your own empire. That's what power looks like. Pain teaches you. It breaks your heart open, but only so more light can get in. When you use it wisely, it becomes your compass. It tells you who's real, what matters, and what no longer deserves your energy. It helps you set boundaries. It toughens your skin, but softens your heart. And most of all, it makes your glow unreplicable, because you earned it through the fire. So take that pain. Don't suppress it. Don't fake a smile for the world. Feel it. Then mold it. Let it teach you. Let it move you. Turn every scar into strategy. Every tear into tenacity. Every no into a new level of yes. Because the most powerful people in the world aren't the ones who've never been hurt. They're the ones who turn their hurt into their crown. They'll challenge you, doubt you, undervalue you. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your entire life trying to prove them wrong. But here's the truth. Most people never hear. You don't owe anyone a performance. You don't need to dance for their approval, shrink for their comfort, or speak just to be heard. You don't have to prove, just shine. Because light doesn't explain itself, it just illuminates the room. There's a woman who works in a male-dominated office. She's brilliant, but every time she speaks, someone interrupts. Every time she presents, someone questions. For a long time, she tried to fight for space. Raise her voice louder, outwork everyone. Until one day, she stopped performing and started positioning. She focused on excellence. She didn't announce her brilliance, she demonstrated it. Quietly, powerfully, without seeking validation. And one by one, the doubters faded. Because when your light is real, no spotlight can ignore it. The problem with trying to prove yourself is that it keeps you chained to someone else's opinion. It's like carrying an invisible weight of expectations, heavy, exhausting, and never-ending. The moment you stop needing to convince people of your worth, you start rising into it. You stop defending your value and start living it. That's where the real shift begins. You walk into rooms, not hoping to be accepted, but prepared to own the space with your presence. Not loudly, but deeply. Imagine a teenage girl with a passion for art. Her family wants her to become a doctor, calling her dream just a hobby. For years she hides her sketchbook, but her soul aches. So one day, she stops trying to prove her dream's legitimacy and just starts painting. Not for money, not for recognition, just for herself. Months later, her work ends up in a local gallery, not because she screamed for attention, but because her talent whispered loud enough for the right people to hear. She didn't fight for the spotlight, she became the light. People will always underestimate what they can't understand. If they've never seen someone like you, bold, unapologetic, different, they'll try to box you in. Let them. While they gossip, you build. While they sleep on you, you work silently until they can't ignore you anymore. That's the power of not proving, just becoming. Social media tricks us into thinking we have to constantly explain ourselves, post our wins, justify our struggles, prove we're doing well. But what if you didn't need to show off? What if you let your peace, your glow, your joy be the evidence? The ones who are really winning aren't the loudest. They're the ones too busy living to perform. In love too, sometimes you're with someone who keeps making you feel like you have to earn their attention. Like you're in a competition to be enough. No. When someone really values you, you won't have to beg them to see your worth. You won't have to shrink or shift to be loved right. You just be. And the right one will feel it without explanation. And yes, sometimes the world won't clap for you. They won't congratulate your growth. They won't acknowledge your evolution. That's okay. Your journey isn't a group project. It's a personal masterpiece. Some people won't get the picture because they're not meant to be in the frame. Keep painting it anyway. So walk like you've already arrived. Speak like you know who you are. Move like you're the prize. Because you are. You don't need their applause. You need your alignment. When you stay in your lane, rooted in purpose and dripping in authenticity, you become untouchable. Not because you're loud, but because your light is undeniable. And light, real light, doesn't compete. It just shines. Let them laugh, let them talk, let them question, doubt, underestimate, or even walk away. Because in the end, none of it defines you. Their words are not your identity. Their opinion is not your destiny. What they see in you is limited by the mirror they've never dared to face themselves. Not for them, but for you. And that's the beginning of true power. You don't need an audience to be legendary. Legends are built in silence. While the world sleeps, you grind. While they mock, you master your craft. While they scroll, you evolve. And by the time they finally look up to see what you've become, it's too late for them to catch up. Because you've already gone beyond what they could imagine. Remember this. The lion doesn't turn around when the small dogs bark. Because the lion knows who it is. So the question is, do you know who you are? You are the storm they never saw coming. The calm fire that burns quietly but reshapes everything it touches. You are not here to prove anyone wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. You are not here to chase validation. You are the blueprint of a woman who creates her own stage, lights it herself, and performs not for applause, but for purpose. Your pain didn't break you. It gave you fuel. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Your kindness wasn't naivety, it was royalty. And now, your confidence isn't noise, it's thunder. The world doesn't respect noise, it respects presence. And presence comes when you own your truth so deeply that even your enemies feel your power when you say nothing at all. Don't get distracted by the ones who left you. Don't waste your energy on the ones who tried to dim your light. Remember, the sun doesn't explain why it shines. It just rises every single day and lights up the whole damn sky. So rise. They called you too much, be more. They called you cold, be icy. Protect your peace like royalty. They said you changed, good. You weren't born to stay the same. Growth is painful, evolution is lonely, but you'll never become unforgettable by staying comfortable. You want to know the real revenge? Show up, glowing, winning, and unavailable to everything that once broke you. You don't have to shout your worth. Walk in a room like God sent you there. Sit at the table like you own it. Or better yet, build a new table and decide who's worthy to sit with you. Be so rooted in self-respect that people can feel your boundaries before you ever speak. Be so focused on your goals that distractions get tired of trying to reach you. Be so aligned with your higher self that nothing outside of you has the power to shake your peace. Because the truth is, when you finally realize your worth, you stop running after people. You stop over-explaining, you stop proving, you become untouchable. Not because you fight harder, but because you've already won the battle within. The real glow up is inner peace. The real flex is emotional control. The real crown, it's invisible, but when you wear it right, the whole world sees it. So breathe in that power. Own your story. Take every scar and wear it like armor. Not because you need to be hard, but because you survived things most can't even imagine. You are not a victim of your past. You are the author of your comeback. And baby, the next chapter, it's not just personal, it's legendary. Because while they were busy doubting you, life was busy preparing you, and now it's your time. Not to fight, not to prove, but to shine. Relentlessly, unapologetically, eternally. Because queens don't explain, they reign.